Hey crafty friends, it's Justine Dvorak from Stationery by Justine, and I'm over here again on the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel to create a really fun birthday card with you today. A belated birthday card, that is. My background here I have made in advance. Whenever I do galaxy backgrounds, I like to batch them. So I will make multiple backgrounds and then have them on hand when inspiration comes a knockin'. So for my background, I have a Dreamy Ink Blended Galaxy Sky. I did stamp some silver embossed stars from this stamp set where the gnomes came from, and I'm going to put a cute little gnome on top of it. It's going to be so adorable with his little rocket balloon. And then the sentiment is going to be, oops, I'm light years away. Happy belated birthday. So just a little chat about my background before I talk about my coloring. But for my background, I blended some Distress Oxides. I used Black Soot, Blueprint Sketch, Wilted Violet, and Picked Raspberry onto some smooth cardstock. And for galaxies, you can really use a bunch of different mediums. I want to try using my Distress Oxide sprays. That's next on my to-do because I now have them in my craft room. I picked them up this spring, and I think that that would be really cool to make a galaxy background with. But the trick to getting the galaxy look is just to get those darker shades on top of the lighter colors, but letting some of that bright color pop through. And then I also splattered some white acrylic paint for the stars. And then of course I added those silver stars from the stamp set, and I'm just loving it. So quick chat about the stamp set for these two cuties. I'm actually just going to use one, but you can admire how cute the other one is as we go along here. But they're both from the Astronomical Gnomes 4x8 stamp set. This is a really cute one from Trinity. There are 3 gnomes in total. Each gnome, you could use all of them together. You could use 2 of them on a card. You could use each one singly on a card. And these are so perfect for wobblers. I didn't use a wobbler on this one, but I've used this stamp set with wobblers, and it is just over the top cute with a little mini wobbler behind these little guys floating off into space. I am obsessed with wobblers recently, and I've been putting them on everything. And this whole space theme that Trinity has come out with recently is perfect for that. So I am modeling my astronaut after my husband. He does have a brown beard, so that's what we're going after today, because as they say, art imitates life. So that is where we're going for this, a little bit of a direction of my astronaut. I just want to briefly chat about outlining of stamps as you watch me color here. So you'll see that my astronaut, I have left the white outline around, but the moon does not have the white outline. So the reason behind that decision is the moon is actually part of a balloon trio that the other gnome that is not pictured on screen is holding. And I wanted a moon for this card, but I did not want to use a big one. I didn't want to do any die cutting. Frankly, I just wanted it to be teeny and small and just have it be from this stamp set and have everything for this card come from this stamp set. So I grabbed my little scissors and I fussy cut out that moon from the balloon, and then I'm going to pop that on my card. So you can kind of get creative with these stamped images. You don't have to use them as they are. You can create your own journey, if you will. You could also do that with the rocket ship that is tied off to this gnome. You could fussy cut that out and you would have a little blow up rocket. But the fun part about these planets and the rocket from this stamp set in particular is they are extra balloon-like with the little balloon tied off pieces, and then the one that's holding the earth, it kind of looks like his hands are stretching around that balloon, and it is just super cute and perfect for birthday cards. But if you did not want to do a birthday card, you don't have to, because it could just look like he's holding a planet or he's just off into space. So if you're not wanting a direction of a birthday card, you could certainly put whatever sentiment you want on there. And the new release that Trinity put out last month is full of sentiments. So there's lots of choices in that department. But I kind of go back and forth with how I handle outlining my stamped images. Some cards I will leave the white as it is, and sometimes I will cut out and have it be 0 white edges going around my stamped images. But as you can see on my astronaut, he has these little lines that look like motion. And I did not want to lose that on this card, so I chose to leave the white lines. And if the white lines bother you so badly, what you can do is grab your coloring medium. So on this card, I would either use Copics or ink blending. If you're really, really particular, you could mask off the stamped image, ink blend around the edge on the white, or you can grab some Copic markers or whatever color pencils you want and add color around the stamped images to match your background, and it just kind of makes that line fade away into the background. So that's also an option as well. But honestly, I like the wiggly lines on this gnome. I think he's just over the top cute, and it looks like he's just chilling and floating off into space, and he is certainly late to the party with his belated birthday card. Then with the rocket ship, I'm just going to keep the coloring really simple. I have been working on my Copic coloring skills, and a wise woman told me that even if the object is white that you're coloring, it still has shading. So I do try to grab some of my cool tones, maybe C0 or C01 or 2, and just give a light shade to those white areas because there's always a shadow. Although in space, I don't know enough about shadows in space. I guess there isn't a shadow, but maybe that depends on where the sun is. I don't know. I'm not an astrologist, so astrology. Yes, astronomy. Oh my goodness. I am neither an astronomist or an I'm so sorry. Moving on. I'm a card maker and a teacher. We'll leave it at that. Anyway, for my moon that I have fussy cut out, I am using more cool tones, and this will just kind of keep a consistent color palette on my project with the other cool tones that I've used on the astronaut suit and keep the eye happy. Because if I were to grab maybe like a yellow or a brown tone to color this moon, it would really stick out. And I don't want the moon to be the focal point of this card. It's really the astronaut. So I have grabbed some colored cardstock here, and I have made a skinny border of purple and black. And I'm going to pop my background right over all of that loveliness. And I will just keep it flat. And this is what I kind of like to do when I have a warped background. And that keeps it nice and straight. I also enjoy using the liquid glue to keep everything flat. I found that getting kind of cheap tape runner and using that for putting on backgrounds, it kind of works right away, but then later it will pop off and then the card kind of falls apart. And if I'm going to go through all the trouble of, not trouble, but if I'm going through the process of making a handmade card, I don't want the background to pop off the card. It'd be kind of sad. So I like to use liquid glue. Well, this moon was just not looking quite finished to me, so I'm going to go back with some C1 and really try to get it blended out. A little bit of some over coloring there, but it's all right. Now with space, with the light directions and everything, I just kind of assumed where my shadows and highlights would be. I think there's a little bit of forgiveness on that because it is a space card. There isn't a sun shining from the top like it would if it was coloring a scene on Earth, but that is just the way it is. So like I said, I love the little mini wobblers that Trinity has. So if you're making a space card, I dare you to use one of those mini wobblers and not smile. They are just so fun. And anytime I've given someone a card with a mini wobbler, they have smiled. And it is so hard to not just sit there and wobble it for a whole bunch of times. Those interactive cards are just so fun. Speaking of interactive cards, I want to redo some of the space cards that I have made recently and add some more lights to some of them, or redo the design. So that is on my crafty to do for the summer. But let me know in the comments, do you have anything on your crafty to do that you are really looking forward to doing this summer? Maybe you've put off a project or an idea and now's the time to do it, especially once it gets super, super hot and muggy outside. I find myself in my craft room more because I am not into the humidity. All right, I'm going to finish off this card by popping everything up with some foam tape. So we will just skip ahead for that because I am redoing the same piddly process, if you will, of just adding foam to everything. But again, I think this would be even better with a wobbler. What do you think about this card? Let me know in the comments, and we'll see you in a couple weeks for another video. Bye, crafty friend.